A passport, a credit card, and a Ducati Multistrada V4 Rally. That's really all you need to go around the world, according to the guys at FortNine. Well, at least that's what Ryan will tell you. Connor and Edwin, on the other hand, had a bit more luggage to carry. In any case, the trio from FortNine decided to take a pair of the Italian ADV bikes around the world, starting east from Hope, British Columbia, Canada, and ending in, well, Hope, British Columbia, Canada, simultaneously trying to break the round-the-world overland record and make a documentary film about it. From the planning to the gear, the border crossings to the sleep deprivation, Ryan, Connor, and Edwin break down exactly what it takes to make a giant circle across 4 continents even possible, how they filmed it, and what taking an epic trip like this meant for each of them. Heads up though, if you haven't watched the film, you may run into some spoilers, so go ahead and watch the movie first, there's a link in the show notes, and then come back here. It's cool, we'll wait. This is FortNine's Trip Around the World. I'm your host, Mark Long, and you're listening to Driven to Ride. All right, Ryan, Connor, Edwin, you guys are on Driven to Ride. This is the best. I am super stoked to be here because not only are you three here with me, or rather I'm here with you guys, we are in the official FortNine offices in Vancouver, BC.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, not a problem. It's a privilege to be here, so thank you for having me. The best way to get started is just, what would we know you guys for in your own words? And we'll start with you, Ryan.
Sure. I make a lot of videos about motorcycles and post them on the internet. So we got a YouTube channel called FortNine that's been going for, I think, about 10 years now. So it would be that, reviewing motorcycles, motorcycle gear, a bit of travel content.
Cool. How about you, Connor?
I'm the other guy. I've been around for three years maybe at FortNine.
That's about right.
I was working in manufacturing in the cycling industry for a long time, and outdoor industry in general for most of my career, a couple odd jobs here and there. And during the pandemic, like many, I got addicted to what Ryan was putting out there and kind of threw a Hail Mary job description and lucked out. So yeah, I'd say I've been on the channel, visibly on the channel for like 2 years, and then did a year with Ryan before that.
Nice. And last but certainly not least, Edwin.
I'm a filmmaker. I'm a film director, filmmaker. I worked in the film industry my whole life, and then when I moved to Canada, first thing I applied to was FortNine, and I met Ryan, and I liked how he did everything and his vision for the channel and the films you want to do and all that stuff. So I'm a filmmaker with the FortNine.
Nice. I love it. And if you want to know kind of what FortNine is a little bit more in depth, Ryan, you've been on the show before and we talked about how it got started and how you've kind of come to this point. But Edwin, you kind of lead us into a good spot because you guys kind of made a little film recently about a little adventure you took. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I can. So we tried to break the overland circumnavigation record a couple Septembers ago, which is the fastest time going around the world, by car, by motorcycle. And it's been set by motorcycles the last few times. So that record was sitting at like 19 days, 4 hours. And the goal was to get around quicker than that. So you ride Anchorage to Miami, Lisbon to Istanbul, Mumbai to Calcutta, Bangkok to Singapore, and then Perth to Sydney. And you try to get all that done in less than 19 days. That was the challenge. We wanted to have a filmmaker ride on the back of the bike the whole time so that we could shoot some real in the trenches doc footage while we were doing it, and ultimately make a feature length movie out of that.
So you tried to break the world circumnavigation record and make a movie at the same time.
Yep.
Because doing one is not hard enough. You got to do both at the same time. Whose idea was this in the first place?
It was mine. I was over in the UK and I heard Nick Sanders talk. Nick Sanders is the guy who had the record previously in 2005. And he was talking about his experience, and it kind of twigged in my brain because I always wanted to do like a big trip while could call it work. I have a family, so I didn't want to be away from home for very long. And I thought, this is perfect because I can go around the world, but I'll be back in like 2 weeks and change. So that was where the impetus come from. And in the beginning, it was like, I plan to do it by myself and like throw some GoPros on and like maybe make a YouTube video. But from talking about it in the office, it became an exciting idea and a bigger idea, and Con wanted to come. And then, okay, if we're going to make a movie, Edwin's got to be there. And then it kind of snowballed into this feature length documentary that it is now.
Okay. Yeah. So Connor, like, did you get roped into this trip, or were you like, hell yeah, sign me up?
It's a really good question, Mark. So I think it's easiest. I don't really, you let me know what you think of this. Like I walked into the office one day and Ryan doesn't buy a lot of stuff. He's a minimalist dude. I admire that about him.
Okay.
I knew he'd already done a glove review recently, but he was looking at gloves. So like, oh, maybe Ryan's buying some new gloves. I wonder what he's getting. And I was like, hey dude, you're buying new gloves? And you were like, yeah, I'm gonna take these on that world tour. I was like, what world tour? And you're like, oh yeah, we're going to ride around the world and like try to break this world record. I didn't tell you about that.
Casual.
And I was like, no, dude, this is like it's a life-changing project, right? So like initially I'm thrown off course. And the more he described the plan and the history of the record and the sort of, not controversy, but what would you call it? Like, lack of clarity as to what the
there's a bit of controversy. So this couple, Kevin and Julia, did it in like 19 days, 8 hours. It was before the war in Iraq, so their route went Anchorage to Miami, but then Lisbon through Istanbul, and then through like Iraq and Iran and down to Qatar, and then across Australia. Nick Sanders wanted to break that in 2005, but it was a war zone, so he went as far as Istanbul, but then went through India and went through Southeast Asia as well.
From Istanbul to
Mumbai, rode to Kolkata, and then flew to Bangkok, rode down to Singapore. So he set a faster time, 19 days, 4 hours. He did, I think, arguably a more difficult routes because it adds India, it adds Asia, there's more flying.
Okay.
It's a little bit more complete. But Kevin and Julia never recognized it because it seems like he did that record over a period of like 3 months while shooting a TV show. And they thought, hey, this is too much rest time. You're just counting your ride time, and you know we're not going to accept it.
Oh, it wasn't like a continuous like.
It wasn't a continuous started. Yeah, I got 19 days, 4 hours of riding, but 90 days in between. Right, he's shipping a bike overseas.
Okay,
around.
Yeah.
And an endurance record, if you know, sleep deprivation is a big deal. So they didn't recognize his record. He clapped back that he didn't recognize theirs because their record also was like 42 days.
Okay.
Because they shipped their bike around too. And you know, they were riding 2 up, and maybe that's easier, maybe it's harder, blah, blah, blah. And so no one knew whose time to break and how much rest was too much. And it just left the record like unchallenged for 2 decades.
Okay.
Which is kind of the controversy that Con was hitting about. And part of the reason why we wanted to do is a straight shot. So when we went rounds, we just counted everything, like all the flights, all the sleep.
Everything.
It was a true trip that, you know, started at time 0 and finished at time, you know, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the movie, go watch the movie now.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Now you've been warned. We got around in 16 days, 23 hours. It's like a true start to finish time.
Which, like, first of all, congratulations on not just breaking it, but like demolishing it.
Thank you. And that's why I didn't get roped into it, but after I got that sort of briefing on the project, he said, okay, you plan the route. So I spent planning the route for almost a year. And after I made a Gantt chart and I had everything down to the minute.
Wow. Okay.
And I was on Google Earth and all the platforms pretty much, like CalTopo, Google Earth, Gaia, and I'm basically looking for gas stations that are open during the hours that we're going to be there, that'll have the right gas that we need, that are off the highway.
Okay.
So I basically digitally walked the entire route all the way around the world over the course of like 6 months. And then I kind of brought it to these guys and was like, this is impossible.
Okay.
And so they're like, well, no, like it'll be okay. And I'm like, look at this, you know?
I've done that.
So in my mind, I was like, I had some qualms with this because I was like, I could crash. Like I haven't been riding nearly as long as Ryan, and I've been training, but I was intimidated by the project for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
And I've definitely taken some road trips, and I know how to pay attention to myself and ride safely. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it because there's no way we're going to make it. Like we're never.
So you were like, well, we're not going to make it, so I might as well just do it to have fun
I said
anyway and say that
this will be a cool documentary about us trying to do this crazy thing. And it'll be entertaining, and we'll get to ride these sick bikes.
It'll be fun.
It'll be a fun trip with us. And so I was like, yeah, I mean, we'll do it, but it's not going to happen. And then as you'll see in this film, like we keep making our checkpoints, and that's where I was like, oh, dude, okay.
So even after you started, you didn't think you were going to make it?
I was like giving it 110. I wasn't putting my feet up.
Yeah.
But, on night one, when we wind up in that bar, like we were taking tequila shots with fans. And I was, you can't really tell in the film, but you can see me kind of clenching my jaw because I'm like, what are we doing here, man? Like, we got to be on the road. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, this is just sort of like a lifestyle kind of thing going on. It didn't feel like an expedition like I thought it was going to. And then slowly we all got on the same page and everybody kind of tightened their grip and we looked at our watch and we were like, okay, we can make this and it's going to be full effort.
So then to Edwin, I mean, obviously they needed to film it. They needed a world-class filmmaker. Lucky that they have one in you. How did they approach you with this? And like, were you cool with it from the start or were you like hesitant? Like how'd you first find out about this?
Yeah, Ryan came up and was like, hey dude, we're breaking the world record. I want to make a movie. And like I couldn't think of someone other than you. And I was like, sounds good.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good. I like this stuff. I like it when it's challenging and like the environment is challenging. I like this type of movies. Anything might happen on this trip. So that makes a better story in a way or another. So I was like, yeah, let's just do it. Yeah.
So I saw a quote from you, better risky than easy, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I've always had this. I filmed in the Himalayas. I filmed in the sea, in the Mediterranean Sea, expeditions of people breaking records, basically.
Okay.
So I always liked it. I was like, yeah. And Ryan came up with this project and I was like, yeah. Let's just let's do it.
In the planning, at what point did you figure out or did you kind of know from the start that you were going to be riding as a passenger?
There was no way to ride a bike and film what we filmed.
Right.
No way.
Yeah.
First of all, you're adding one more logistical stuff to be dealing with.
Right.
And second, I don't ride a motorcycle good enough to be joining these guys.
I think Edwin's first motorcycle trip was basically this one. We went on like a test ride like a few weeks before we left on the world tour, and that was like the first time that you went on a motorcycle trip, right?
Pretty much. I'd say so, yeah.
But I will say if I had to pick one dude to give a motorcycle and be like, you have to figure this out, and we have to ride this, it would be you. And you would just figure it out.
He'd get it done. He's a hardcore dude. Like the scale of the ask on Edwin, like, can't really be overstated. Like where you're asking a guy to like sit on like a tiny pillion seat, like in gnarly weather and gnarly traffic for like a world record amount of time, like 40-hour ride days, and then sleep for like 1 or 2. And then, by the way, while you're doing that, like somehow manage a film kit and also manage to capture like a documentary's worth of footage, right? So kind of how we get off the bikes and pass out. And that's exactly when you'd have to go to work in terms of like dumping footage and shooting
Insane.
stuff.
It wasn't easy for you either, though, dude. Like I rode with Edwin on the back for like an hour in Malaysia, and I hated it.
Yeah, for sure.
It was
for
awful.
sure. It's something.
Did you ever get sick of it, Ryan, or were you kind of just this is my life now, and I'm just going to live it?
You mean having a pillion or just the riding in general?
No, riding with a pillion, yeah.
No, I don't mind it actually. It's,
really?
Yeah, it's not so bad as long as you never go back and forth.
Sure.
Like when we first set out, it was like, whoa, because the bike feels slow and sluggish and annoying to ride, and it moves when you're not expecting it, and all the stuff that bothers people when they have a pillion. But I find I noticed that for like the first hour, and then I just don't, and it just feels like normal. So I had as great of a ride as I would have solo. But then I think there was a moment in America where we stuck Edwin on the back of your bike so that he could film me.
Oh, sure.
And so I was pillionless for like 30 minutes, and it was like, it felt amazing. And then when I got Edwin back, I was like, damn, I hate this again, And so we basically never switched again until like an hour in Malaysia, right?
Yeah, but you had a bar back too the whole time, basically, because you'd be like, I remember a couple of times like, Edwin, like, can you like get my thing out of my pocket for me? Yeah. And Edwin's like, sure. And I'm looking back and I've had like an itch on my shoulder blade for 18 hours.
There's perks. Yeah, Edwin's giving me like water, and like there's a scene in the movie where he's like helping me take jackets off.
That
and,
was
like,
it. Yeah.
Switch layers. Like it does help. Yeah, it's worth something.
Yeah, I guess it has its perks. It has its perks. So, okay, so you planned this basically down to the minute. Connor's thinking it's impossible, but still down for it. Edwin, you jumped in with both feet. Ryan, you're ready and raring to go. I just want to talk about gear for like a minute, and that can be bikes, that can be jackets, shoes, helmets, all that kind of stuff, comms. Obviously, being with Fort9, you theoretically kind of have the pick of the litter when it comes to gear. What did you guys decide to bring?
I think we all have like really different ethoses when it comes to gear. Not to like plug another podcast because yours is the best, but I did
Hey,
the
thanks.
Revzilla podcast like a few weeks ago and like super pissed those guys off because they're gearheads, right?
Oh,
And they're
sure,
like,
yeah.
oh, what'd you bring? And I was like, yeah, man, like passport and like some pants. If you got a credit card and a passport, like you pretty much go around the world.
Yeah.
I was basically looked like this. I had a sweater on and some slacks, shoes. My mentality was that like gear is more to think about. So already our mental capacity was like so at the limit that I just wanted to be like comfortable and simple. So most of the time I'm like in a sweater or t-shirt and in the same pair of pants.
Yeah.
And the same pair of like kind of ankle boots. And I kept it kind of really minimal and simple. But to each his own. Con, I think, was quite a bit more tactical with it and put a bit more thought into what he brought.
Yeah, I mean, everything mattered so much to me.
For sure. For you.
First of all, I did like a bunch of training rides on that bike. I went down to visit my dad in California and did a couple down and backs there. I did some rides up north, and I was basically putting miles on. I was mostly concerned with these pants. I got these. Moscow Moto started doing pants with armor built in.
Oh, okay.
Because their philosophy, which I totally, it's totally my jam too, is like all armor's always tight on your body, and then you've got like a shell. But they did this. I can't remember the name of the pant, which sucks. I'll figure it out before this is over. But it's got they're pretty bulky, but you can still move around in them. They fit me well. What's the name of the? I'm blanking on the name of the ceramic dots.
Oh, Super Fabric?
Yeah, it's got a bunch of super fabric on there, and I just love that brand so much and everything that they do.
Yeah.
And I just felt it was more for me. I was trying to consciously give myself a false sense of security with a lot of this stuff, but those things perform really well. But they actually were the reason I think I had the not the pants, but the pants and that bike. My position on that bike in Europe was why my legs puffed up.
Yeah, because you had two pants, right? One waterproof.
Yeah, and then I had those are the waterproof ones, and then I had their like full mesh pants for India as well. But those pack into nothing. But the pants were so stiff, and I never moved. Like those are meant for more like active riding. So you're
Like
you're
adventure
standing
riding or
up.
off-road,
Yeah, you're
like,
moving
yeah,
around.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it wasn't actually the right pant. I don't know if there is one for just staying in the same position for 16 days straight, but like I wasn't moving enough. So it's on me to like get my blood flowing. But I wound up with those shoes that are a huge part of the movie. And in my mind, I was like, we need one pair of shoes for Alaska and India in September, when we maybe could have had a fresh pair show up with the bikes in Alaska, but it was more to coordinate, more to think about, and you'd have to count on them being there.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, I'll just pick one thing and then I'll deal with it. Like it'll be a couple of days in India. Like I'll have hot feet for a couple of days,
Yeah, what could happen?
But man, those were really hot feet.
I guess just, actually, no, before we get to your feet,
Yeah.
because I do want to ask about it, not in a weird way. But what did you pick, Edwin, for your gear?
I got to dress Edwin.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
really? I have no idea what he-
I was
Connor
gonna say,
dressing-
he has.
They
What
just
I
said, put this
cared-
on and went with it. Yeah.
What I
yeah.
cared about was to basically have clothing on me.
Right.
And
good
then
start.
after that, just the camera gear. So I had one pants that Connor picked up, like a mesh pants, and then
I went like pretty much full climb, and we had Icon boots for you too,
Yeah.
which I was jealous of. Those were a good move. But I got us
Yeah.
both Neotech 3s, the modular helmets.
yeah,
yes,
that was
yeah,
the
yeah.
big thing. For
I
sure.
knew he
The
was going to
helmet-
have to be.
The helmet was the best.
He's going to have to pull that up to film all the time.
Yeah.
And I just wanted it just because I was sick of pulling my helmet on and off, and I have a wide head, so it was like if I had to take a regular helmet on and off instead of just lifting the face, I'd wreck my ears. And they're just so comfortable.
Yeah,
so
for
quiet.
sure. Like the helmet was the big thing, that Neo Tech 3, and then t-shirts and a jacket that has a lot of pouches, so I
Yeah.
can have batteries, lenses, and my stuff around, and
Yeah.
just a good shoe so I don't crash my ankles or whatever.
Yeah. And then some, freedom of movement to
That's it.
kind of move around and stuff like that. So,
Yep. And a balaclava.
and a balaclava.
Yeah,
I needed that.
There you
Yeah,
go.
which is a crazy choice.
Why?
Just balaclava, dude. Like,
Just because no one will know that Edwin is a Lebanese guy with a Lebanese passport, and most of the borders that we went through
yeah.
are not super stoked on that.
Yeah.
So he's rocking up, like, you can't just see his eyes because he's got a full black balaclava on. And he's got all these boxes that look suspicious.
Yeah.
They're really heavy and have wires coming out of them.
And a camera in their face.
You got a camera in their face, and it was
I just wanted to have like more stories, like more stuff.
Yeah.
So I had that balaclava on.
There we go. Well, and so speaking of like filming and not filming, I want to say like just on camera that you are like a G for like, if I didn't count, I should have, but how many times there was a checkpoint and they say no filming, and then sitting there holding the camera. Oh, it's off. It's totally off. All of our action cams, everything.
For me, it's like the story or nothing. Like if I can pull out anything from what's going on, which was very interesting, I would do it. But sometimes I wasn't rolling, I was just rolling and I didn't know.
It was an accident. It was an accident. Yeah.
And it's I've never hung out with a group of dudes where I was like the most sketched out by stuff.
Really?
And at some of these border stops, I was like, Edwin, like, we can't record.
Yeah.
And Edwin's like, I'm not. And it's just like, beep, beep, beep. And I'm like, okay, man. I mean, I did my part. I'm not holding the camera.
Right, yeah.
But going back and seeing some of those scenes, it's like, it's just so awesome to have those moments.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. It's kind of on the border patrol agents too, because like most people know if there's like a red dot on a camera or like you can see somebody like that, that's on them.
Yeah.
Like they should have like came over and switched them off, or like because you had action cams and you had an Insta360 or two, so it's like you have half a dozen or more cameras
Serbia,
running all at the same time.
Serbia, they tried.
Yeah, in Serbia,
really?
they came out at me. I was like, no filming here. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm not.
But his chest cam was rolling the whole time. The 360s are kind of hard to tell that they're there.
Yeah.
They're next to so no one really knew that those were going, and they weren't blinking.
The amount of footage we have is crazy. Like there's such a small amount of moments that we don't have on camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like a few things that we talked about where it's like, oh, when you like smoked that bird, or like there's a few like funny little things that we remember that we don't have. But I'd say like we have it all.
That's
like
so cool.
It's ridiculous how much Edwin was able to capture.
Yeah, from the back of a motorcycle.
Yep.
It's like cinema grade. Like, yeah. So congratulations to you,
Thank
man,
you.
on doing that.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
It's super cool. Let's talk about the checkpoints and the visas and stuff a little bit, because you talked about it a little bit, Connor, about just researching all this kind of stuff. And how long did you say you kind of research and plan for this? Over a year?
I mean, it wasn't 24/7 doing it because I was still working full time with these guys, but it wasn't just my whole job. But it was I'd say 6 months, and I was like ready to present the route to Ryan to go over, and there's a lot of trust in there. So when he's kind of like, yeah, it looks great,
let's do it.
I was like, okay.
So it's a modern world, man. I mean, the Gantt chart is super helpful, but I mean, we got phones, we got Google Maps, like
we have so much more technology than the previous, so much more, and so it's also like you can only. We were ready. It was mental. It was just like, okay, we have a plan to shoot for. And then what ended up happening is, maybe there's construction, maybe some of the motorways don't allow motorcycles. Like there's all kinds, each country had its own set of hazards.
Forest fires in Spain.
In Spain.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So there was all kinds of like reroutes and stuff going on, but the Gantt chart sort of provided a control to be like, just to make sure we were at least on pace with where we should be.
Sure.
You should maybe explain what a Gantt chart is, because I bet I had no idea before we started this.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know what a Gantt chart is, and I was just rolling with it. So
I hope I can explain.
Thanks, Mark.
I hope I can explain it.
I have no idea what a Gantt chart is.
It's basically like it's a spreadsheet, and it's kind of like a cascading schedule of like. It's like a super calendar kind of. So if you broke your calendar down into a timeline, and then I'd say the y-axis is locations, and then the x-axis is what time of day you're going to be there. So it's fairly simple. I mean, a guy like me even saying axis, like I'm already uncomfortable. Like no, it's chill. It's really helpful.
It's chill. But the cool thing about it is it's got your arrival time and departure time at all the stops, and the distances between them.
Okay.
And your average speed. So at any given time, if you know to the minute whether you're on time, even in the middle of like a 40-hour ride day, you know precisely whether you're on track or not.
Yeah.
And if you're early or late, like how that adjusts the rest of your ride schedule.
And it was helpful to have them laminated and printed. For
printed and laminated for everybody.
There we go.
Yeah, because some places we didn't have connection and like
no internet or cell service or whatever.
Yeah.
We thought about making the longest roll chart of all time. but we went with the Gantt chart instead.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about the border crossings a little bit or whatever. I mean, obviously you guys had to pull a lot of visas. I know you ran into that challenge a couple of times. You almost did, Ryan, with India. Did you have a lot of troubles going through most checkpoints, like internationally? Were they pretty smooth? I mean, obviously in the film there's a couple of snafus. If you guys want to talk about that, I mean, what was that whole, like, because it's one thing to be like, okay, we need to plan for a visa here, we need to plan and cross this here and blah blah blah, but then like when you're in it and like you're being questioned or like you have to get off the bikes and no filming, like, you know, what's that like in person, in real life?
Filming in other countries is like a huge pain in the butt.
Really?
Visas, yeah. So when Con says we were planning the route for a year beforehand, it's absolutely true. And it's because some of those visas take like a year to process. So if you want to turn up with like a professional filmmaker and a bunch of camera equipment, then there are places where you need like to run that by the cultural authority of that nation who wants to make sure that your film is something that's going to capture, you know, their country and identity well. And it's different for everyone because Con's American and I'm Canadian and as Lebanese. So we got 3 passports going through, you know, the 18 or 19 countries that we did, and we're trying to make a film in all of them. So it's a big mix. Like in America, we have journalism visas already. So like, that's really easy. And like Turkey, Ed can just go in, but I can't. And, you know, in India, it's got to go, you know, through the proper channels because we're making a movie. And that's why my visa for India didn't arrive until like 2 days before we left. So it's a year's worth of work, definitely, to put them all together. And then, of course, when we rock up to some of those borders, like I don't know which one of you guys wants to take that, but there's lots of border stories from the trip.
I mean, that's legit. Like all that preparation had to occur, but there was also for each border crossing or each country, there were weird rules that you had to take into account. Like in India, you can't have GPS devices or sat phone stuff.
Yeah, or drones.
Or no drones,
Weird.
so sat phone stuff. And like that's where I wanted my inReach the most there. And I have a weird phone and it took me a long time to convince them that it wasn't a satellite phone.
Okay.
The first guy thought it was cool and wanted to talk about it. And I was trying, and I didn't really know what was happening, but eventually they let me go. But a few of those border crossings were like the Serbia one. You guys took the wheel. I was just basically asleep that entire time. And we had all the paperwork. We handed it over and everything was okay. But of course there's always tension because you don't know what they're going to come back to you with. And you hope you did your research correctly. And rules change all the time. And applying for some of those visas was tricky too, because there's, you have to give them a really specific window of when you're going to be there.
Oh, like days in, days out kind of thing. And
yeah. And I think the scene in when we're in Turkey, that was the biggest issue with the border because, I mean, there was I'd say 3 big problems. One was the bikes weren't allowed to leave the EU, and all we needed to do was cross that border and get to the Istanbul airport. It was 2-3 hours away.
Yeah.
And then they kind of, I don't have to go into detail, but we got past that hurdle of just getting them in there. But then we didn't have insurance on those bikes. So we had to all of a sudden insure them. And we had a 7-hour buffer to get to the flight, but we had to sort of do all of this stuff. And this is something that we could have been privy to before we got there, but we just didn't think to do that, I guess.
Or like you didn't know what you didn't know,
didn't know.
something.
I mean, we knew Turkey wasn't in the EU. We didn't know we didn't know. Exactly.
Yeah,
so we learned a lot. We do a lot differently, but we made it.
Well, most importantly, though, did you get that cop's number?
No.
It seemed like she wanted to. She made a friend.
Friends.
You made
We're
a friend.
Just friends. Yeah. Honestly,
Connor made it happen. The first hurdle with one of the bikes was missing the paperwork, and these 2 Spanish cops came out to kind of like check them out and see if they were stolen or whatever.
Yeah.
And the female cop had a fanny pack that was like kind of like Connor's.
Yeah, she had a cool bag. You know. I don't really remember that. I mean,
it's in the film, so you can go back and watch the tape.
That's the thing about all that extra footage, dude. Is I've been saying for a long time that I didn't really have a good time on this trip.
Seriously,
that it was just torturous, and you know, these guys like, really, it was so fun, and we had so much fun. And then I go back and I watch all the B-roll, and I'm having an awesome time. I just don't remember. Like we were so sleep deprived.
What you're watching is 11 hours file?
Yeah, it's the ultimate version of like you blacked out at an awesome party and found a camera in the couch the next day.
Yeah,
and you were like, "Oh, I never want to do that again." I'm so miserable, and then you're like, "Oh,
but man, it was pretty
awesome."
fun.
There's like 30 40 plus hours more.
I mean, yeah, I'd love to just spend the rest of my life chipping away at it. see what great moments I'm forgetting.
Yeah, play by play. But yeah, it was kind of that scene in particular kind of stood out to me, not just for your charm, but it kind of highlighted all three of your like skills or specialties of what you brought. Because like Ryan, and I want to know about this a little bit too, is that you like kept your cool like the entire time. Like there were a couple of moments where like you could see Connor, you're like, I'm gonna break, but I'm like not gonna break, but I'm like almost there. And then Edwin, I think you just like powered through it, but I could tell like you guys said, your job isn't done. And even after you get off the bike, you still got to keep working, and you're just going and tired and doing all that. But like you're like a stone, man. You just like all the border crossings, all like everything in there. And maybe there's somewhere in that 30 or 40 hours where you broke down a little bit or whatever. But I don't think it's
I don't think it did.
I don't think it's
He's
there.
like a container. He's
yeah, but like so for the border crossings, like you were chill and like non-confrontational. Connor was charming and kept it lighthearted, and Edwin was there to capture it all and just be kind of the observer. And I think it worked really, really well.
Edwin was causing all the drama with his camera. Connor and I were just trying to clean up his shit.
No filming. No filming.
There was a lot more of a roller coaster in that scene. Like that would have been an entire movie in and of itself. Like there was.
It could be.
It was. I mean, Edwin and I were screaming at each other at one point.
Oh, really?
Over the dumbest thing. The dumbest thing.
Yeah, I do remember one of them. It's like really dumb, dude.
The green wall.
The green wall.
The green
you
wall.
remember it too.
I remember what it was. I just didn't know. Let's get into the green wall, dude.
No, it was a fence.
Oh yeah. Sorry, a fence.
You gotta explain this better. I know what you're talking about. No one else can know.
You know.
So we had to move the bikes, and they told them to move them somewhere. I didn't know where they were. They were up against a chain link fence with that sort of like green mesh.
Like a construction fence or something.
With the green thing on it.
Yeah.
But it's a mesh, it's not a fence.
It's
That's the main problem.
Yeah,
okay. I told Connor,
Did
I
you
was
think
like,
it was a wall or a fence?
a fence, because I told Connor, I was like, Connor, they said to move the bikes there, so move the bikes to the green fence. And then Connor was like, I can't see any green fence, dude. And I was like, there. And I was like, no. And then
I think it was a fence. You were saying wall, but the big thing was that I couldn't see it. You were looking at it through a parked car window.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, and I was taller and couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And there was obviously like some weird communication issue, but we're sitting there. It was kind of like the dude, where's my car thing. Like, what's your tattoo say? What's mine say?
For sure.
Sweet, dude, sweet. It was like, it's a wall, it's a fence.
It would end up by Ryan, like Connor was like, Ryan, hey, do you see a green fence? And Ryan was like, there. And then he would just like solve it.
They dragged me into it. But this, by the way, like the reason the motorcycles had to be brought to the fence is because they were being like officially detained.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're EU bikes. None of us are EU citizens. We couldn't take them into Turkey. The only way for us to ride them to the airport would be if they were Turkish bikes, which means that Ducati Istanbul would have to legally buy and import them from Ducati Spain, which is like a 5-day job that they managed to find some guy to drive up to the airport and bribe a bunch of people and like grease that into 2 hours.
Damn.
And so the custom guys are like detaining the bikes and they're trying to make this happen, and a million bribes are flying everywhere. And our flight by now is like 40 minutes away, and the airport's like 3 hours
40
away.
minutes?
Yeah, so we're thinking we're absolutely...
You're nuked, yeah.
And meanwhile, these guys are coming over, and they're like, is this a fence or a wall? And like, what would you say it is, you know? I'm like, I remember getting...
what day was that?
Like, that was...
7? No.
It would have been probably about day 7.
7.
I think if I seemed calm, it's because I never tried to process any of the stuff, because the days are so long. Like, when we got to the Istanbul airport, one fixer dude like snuck us through like security and lineups that didn't exist and brought us to this weird first class airport, and he didn't speak English, and that was insane. And then the dude before that was like bribing a bunch of people at the border, and the dude before that was like this power man who was putting the moves on all these customs agents. And then before that we were stuck at the border for 6 hours, but before that we were going through Serbia and Bulgaria and Croatia and Slovenia in the dark and filtering through this crazy traffic. And then the whole day started in Italy in this like pouring torrential rain. And that was like 36 or 40 hours ago. Right. So the days are like huge. And you get to the airport and Con and I are both like, wow, that was the craziest day of my life. And if you stewed on it, you would probably like rile yourself up a bit. But the reality for me was that I knew that I couldn't, because that flight to Mumbai is 5 hours.
Yeah.
And we got to sleep that full 5 hours, because when we land in India, it's 6 a.m. and it's like go time on a whole new 40-hour day and a whole new continent.
I don't have the choice of whether or not to stew.
I know.
And it's just crazy that you can like get that sort of that like mental Rubik's Cube dumped in your lap and be like, I'm just going to leave that for later. You know
So
what
you
I mean?
can't like compartmentalize, like I just rode for 40 hours
For
straight.
me, like if I'm getting pissed, I'm letting it out so the pressure doesn't build, because then I'll crack, right? And
Okay,
so I'm
yeah.
kind of, and I'm also like just talking a lot, and I'm letting these guys know where I'm at, because like you're kind of a mystery, but at a certain point we're not really worried about you. Like you're probably fine. It's not like we're wondering if he's okay.
Ryan's okay. It's fine. It's no
Yeah,
big deal,
and so I'm just making sure that you guys weren't wondering if I was okay or not, because I was not. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Con is way more entertaining to watch than
What Ryan's talking about is very entertaining, because I had 3 microphones on the 3 of them, of me
Yeah.
and Ryan, Connor. We were mic'd 24 hours. And Connor I have like audio clips of Connor just like closes his helmet and just starts screaming in his helmet.
Really?
Throughout somewhere in the world. And then he would say like, Cardo, mute microphone, and then we're just like, "Rah!" or whatever he wants. He was just like sing or whatever. He just talks.
Yeah, just getting it out of your system. I get it. Yeah.
And you know when you're on a road trip and like driving a car, and maybe you've done one of those. Like,
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just didn't want to get even close to one of those. And so when I felt myself getting close to the bottom,
Yeah.
I would scream or talk or do something. At one point, I was just grinding my keys into my hip in Australia to stay awake.
Just like riling yourself
and
up.
not to stay awake, but to keep adrenaline going, because caffeine at a certain point doesn't do anything. When you're bouncing off the bottom, it's just slowly diminishing, and then you have to nap.
Yeah.
But like in those bounces toward the bottom, like I just had to keep adrenaline flowing.
Well, because you guys, I mean, you said 40-hour day. There 24 hours is one day.
Yeah, that doesn't matter in a world
It's not a
record.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like
It's like a session.
you're not like, I think we're going beyond like basic sleep deprivation. It's like, oh no, I slept like crap last night. Like I'm going to be tired all day. That adds out the window.
So it was like clinical sleep deprivation. We didn't really know this until we came back. But my sister is a doctor, a clinical psychologist, and I was explaining to her some of the stuff we were noticing. She was like, "Oh yeah, you would have been like near like hospitalization levels of sleep deprivation." The stuff you watch out for. I mean, Connor mentioned the micro sleeps. Like you're riding down the road, and suddenly you're just 10 seconds further down the road and you don't remember what happened in between.
Right.
The super dangerous, great time to pull over and sleep by the side of the road. But the weirder thing is the confabulation. So like you ride along, and this happened to both Con and I, you would see something that you're like really positive that you're seeing. For me, it was always like statues of men on horses and like big giant like skull sculptures.
So like legit hallucination.
What?
Legit hallucinations. And it would get to the point where I would be like, oh man, like, you know, I don't know is this like some war hero or like what? Like I'd really see the thing.
Yeah.
And then you get at some point when you get closer or ride by it, it just like turns into a tree or something.
Weird.
And your brain just like fully makes it something else. It's not like you see it fuzzy. You're not like, what is that? Is that a man on a horse? You like fully see there's a man on a horse, and then oh no, it's
kind of like seeing faces in I think it's called the Gestalt phenomenon, where we are able to see faces in things. And so like if you're staring in the carpet or whatever for a while or spacing out and you see a face like that, we're predisposed to seeing faces. But like it's kind of like that, but instead you think you're looking at a person for real rather than like noticing a face. And like there was one time in the dark, I think in Italy, where there was light hitting rocks on this before an overpass, and both of us thought it was a flag.
yeah,
You remember that? And I was like, "Whoa, it looked like a giant flag." And you were like, "Yeah, I saw it too."
yeah.
and that was
We're having the same
then
hallucination.
it was nap time after
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, and you guys got to be able to sleep on planes and stuff. I mean, I know you were filming, Edwin, most of the time. Like, it's not like you were just sitting like as a pillion, just laying back. But did you at least get to take like a nap or two, like as a pillion, or no? Were you awake the same amount as these guys?
No way. As a pillion, you mean on the bike?
Yeah.
No, there's no way.
Okay.
I couldn't do that. No.
Really?
Yeah, I always felt like, I mean,
You would've needed armrests.
I would fall off the bike.
Fair.
For sure.
Yeah. Maybe just like lean up and nuzzle up against Ryan for like 10 minutes.
Maybe
or
it happened
something.
and I forgot about it. But
Fair, yeah.
but nothing. No, no. don't
You
think
could
so.
stretch.
Yeah, I got
did
really good at like doing
yeah.
yoga and different stuff.
I mean,
like that.
halfway through the trip, you're rolling cigarettes, you're FaceTiming your
yeah.
girlfriend, you're keeping her spirits high. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
No, I had a lot to do.
It was cool.
Stay busy, right? Yeah. Well, one thing I realized we didn't even talk about it. We've talked about it around it, but we didn't talk about the motorcycles, which is kind of important to riding motorcycles around the world. What'd you ride, and how'd you get this all hooked up? Because that's obviously a part of it too, is getting like multiple bikes lined up. You didn't ride the same bike.
Yeah. When we decided that we were going to do this, I just threw it out to like every manufacturer contact that I had.
Sure.
Because I'm pretty bike agnostic. Like I'd happily try the record on anything.
Sure.
Almost all of them said like, no way, this is too dangerous. Or we just don't have the logistical capability to organize bikes in these like 6, continents basically.
Yeah.
And Ducati was the only one who said like, absolutely, like it's a race. We understand racing, to the point where they were asking us like whether we wanted tire warmers on the bikes in the airport. Because the brief was like, we try to rip across a continent as fast as we can and get to the airport, and there's a van waiting, and the bikes like go in the van, and we jump right out of the plane, and when we land on the next continent, they're there waiting, and like we're off again, and they're like, yes, we understand. This is a race. We can do this. So they were in right away, which was cool. And knowing it's Ducatis, then the obvious choice is the Multistrada V4 Rally. It's got the 30-liter tank, 160 horsepower, which I thought it was superfluous, but there were a few places where we used all of it. Like when we, had to turn a 3-hour ride into 40 minutes in Turkey. So yeah, that was the bike. We could both talk till we're blue in the face about it. Con, why don't you go? Talk about the bike.
So I ride a crappy, like beat up DR650.
Right. Yeah.
And my favorite part about that bike was the adaptive cruise control, because that thing, it saved our lives, because you could set it. You could basically like, hook the car in front of you, keep your distance, and then you had to look at your phone, and you had to do stuff you shouldn't normally do on the fly, and you'd kind of be able to take a percentage of your attention off of the road, and then if the car in front of you made a move, that you'd feel the bike dive and you'd get a heads up.
Pay attention. Yeah.
So that is something that I thought was superfluous that turned out to be a major asset. Yeah. Also the fact that, you basically have afterburners on that bike at like 6,000 RPM, the second set of cylinders kick in, and you can just pass anybody and just take off. Like, in Europe, they were fully unrestricted and were just like rocket ships. And even now, we still have them just in case we need to do sound tests and stuff. But I've had 2 years of being able to ride that bike, and I feel so lucky. And you would think I'd never want to sit on it again, but I just went down to San Francisco and back a couple of weeks ago in a day and a half, and I just it feels like home now. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool.
The V4 is endlessly fun. What you just touched on, so it's a V4 motorcycle, but it can run on just the front 2 bank.
Oh,
so
really?
Like when you're going, sub 5,000 RPM, and you're just trying to get the best mileage, then it actually burns.
Shuts off the 2.
Shuts off the back 2. But when it's go time, if you just want to wake yourself up and have fun, or if you need to get somewhere really quick, then you hammer it. It becomes like basically the V4 that's in the Panigale, with different cams and a slight detail.
Like if someone says disregard the speed limit and get here as fast.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If hypothetically somebody said that.
Yeah.
Or if 2 tuk-tuks are closing in on you, like the trash compactor in Star Wars, and you can just...
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so I imagine, actually, speaking about adaptive cruise control, that probably didn't work in India at all, because it was so insane to watch.
I think I ever turned it on in India.
Yeah.
Because and Edwin, like your filming does a fantastic job of this, of like putting you in that situation of just how insane the traffic is in India, because you hear about it and stuff, but like seeing it from the point of view of a motorcycle rider, like my blood pressure, it's going up right now just thinking about it, and like, and I wasn't even there, and I'm getting flashbacks. So I can only imagine like what you guys experienced. Like, was it as crazy as you thought it was going to be?
India was just the most entertaining riding I've ever done in my life. I think I'd heard lots of stories about what it's like, and it's still way more fun, and way crazier than you hear about. In terms of what it looks like I'm so glad that you brought up that like feeling of being in the rider's seat, because that's one of the things we really want to do with the movie, is like just give people a fun, vicarious experience. Like let them have the joy and the thrill of going around the world.
Yeah.
And so Edwin found this rig that lets us mount like our proper cinema camera on our heads. So
Oh,
it's
no
like
way.
this huge helmet that like has this massive battery thing sticking out the back and these arms coming forward, and you can put a real camera on there, so that you get that like in the driver's seat view, but it looks and sounds amazing. Like it's not GoPro, you know, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
If
We'll
you haven't
send you
seen
some
the movie,
photos of
go watch
Yeah.
the movie because it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's a rig that you can mount monitors, batteries, camera on, microphones. Like you can do whatever you want.
And you made this like yourself, or
No,
like
we ordered it from Tilta.
Oh, okay.
It's a company that does
camera
film stuff. Yeah.
And you were able to just put that on the helmets and then
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can rig, up to like a red camera, like red Komodo.
It is
which
its own.
like 7
it is its own
kilogram.
helmet.
oh okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And is that helmet? What's the rating on that helmet?
Yeah,
There's no rating.
The rating is
cinema?
Safe.
yeah, that's it.
It has 3K carbon weave all over it.
Yeah, that's
so.
It
it.
has to be light, dude.
I mean, what do you think, Edwin? Because I think it's kind of cool because it's sort of come full circle. Like you see the action cam footage or whatever from like mountain bike videos or skate videos in the '90s where guys are just like taping giant Super 8s to their heads, and then GoPro comes out and all the action cameras come out, and we're like, oh, cool, we don't have to do that anymore. But then the race to making those perfect kind of plateaus, and all of a sudden we're back in the early '90s and we have to tape a giant camera
For
to our
sure.
face again.
Yeah. The only thing is that cameras now are smaller than the 90s.
True, and way better. But it's
Yeah,
funny. It's
exactly.
like come around. I wonder.
For sure, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
GoPros are good, but
But in order to beat them,
for
you
sure,
got to go back to
it doesn't give you like what like the if you're watching a movie, you want to watch a movie.
Yeah.
So like GoPro takes you out of it, or
Yeah.
any action camera, not
Yeah.
necessarily GoPro. So yeah, that's a good thing, and you can have good audio too, and you can have different lenses, and you can color grade in post, and you can have like motion blur. So it really opens up a lot. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to keep filming with this as long as you guys are happy.
I don't mind at all.
I'd like to make some modifications if I can. But
Make
yeah.
it lighter.
I just don't like that the slide rails are pointed at both sides of my jaw. If
Oh,
I-
really?
Yeah,
always
it's
Just got
just-
these two mounting rails that are like perfect for just spearing.
there's
in
a
the
set
neck,
screw
yeah.
on a tube, and if you hit a brick wall, I mean, you got all kinds of problems anyway. But those things would just go right through your neck.
I mean, so it's a minor decapitation risk for like a great shot, right?
Yeah.
So it's art is pain, Connor. Art is pain.
Yeah, it is. It was.
Or potential pain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
out of all of everything in the film, India is just the most hair raising, because not only did you see insane traffic and you're almost getting, garbage compactor smashed in between a bus and a truck or whatever, but you kind of see a whole different side of the world that I think a lot of people don't see, both good and bad. Because I mean, you're high-fiving people and there's so many people that are happy and joyous or whatever, but then there's a lot of sad stuff and there's a couple of dark moments in there that you talk about and you witness or whatever. I mean, what's that kind of like dichotomy like while you're riding? Did that kind of affect it at all? Or like, did it take your thoughts kind of about the ride at all anywhere?
Yeah, I think for sure it does. India's probably the most beautiful place I've ever been. Like the colors are gorgeous, the people are beautiful, everything smells intense and looks intense. Like everything's just like kind of turned up to 15. And the good and the bad are too. So yeah, you'll be cruising along and everyone's just like stoked to see us and wants to know where we came from and where we're going, and they want to like give us great food and show us things, and like it's really rad. And then there's a moment in the film where we, come across a guy in the road, like trying to kill himself. There's another moment where we come across a smashed up Tata truck, like covered in blood,
Yeah.
And the road incidents are like real, like you see catastrophic fatal accidents every day. It's a dangerous place to be on the road, and it does put that like severity back into your head. Because what we're doing is super fun and it's fun and exciting, and then suddenly you remember like the danger associated with it.
Sure.
And we didn't want to like spell that out for the audience in the film. We'd rather just let them like feel what that's like. So the sequences are like fun and exciting, and it's like, whoa, and it's funny, and we're like making jokes and whatever, and then it's like, whoa, look at that.
Yeah.
And it gets kind of like, ooh.
It gets real fast. Yeah.
And then we continue on, because that's what it feels like when you're there. And we all find a way in ourselves to like hold like the light and the dark together, and we kind of trust that the audience will be able to do that too, rather than try to explicate for them, you know, what that means to us, you know. I really hate cliche motorcycle movies where like it's about the journey and you find yourself and look at this light and dark together,
the deeper meaning.
So I'd rather just like take people on the fun ride, and like where there's deeper consequences, the audience can make it for themselves.
Kind of going off of that a little bit, because you are along for the ride. After India, you get kind of a breathing moment in the film, which I think is great after the insanity of India. But Ryan, it really surprised me. You shared a kind of a really personal moment talking to your family, and I think, I mean, I've been a long time Fort9 fan, and there is this kind of mythos or mystique around Ryan F9, right? You know, and you're the way you present is very polished and witty and smart and sharp, and you're like that, I would say, in real life. But I think that's the first time, at least that I've seen, that you've been like intensely personal and shared like your personal life. I don't think you need to answer the question of why you wouldn't share your personal life on YouTube, but what made you want to decide to share like that bit of your personal life in the film?
Yeah, I have kids, and anyone who watches this film would know that. I never explicitly try to hide elements of my personal life. It's just that our channel is about motorcycles, and like it's just about motorcycles. You know? I'm stoked to not have a lifestyle channel, because when you do, you're inviting like the world into your lifestyle, and that's not something that I would particularly want to do. In the case of the movie, though, like. We talked about there's some elements of India where the danger and the risk associated with what we're doing becomes unignorable. Yeah. And rather than dwell on that and try to spell that out for the audience, we'd rather just like give them a moment to think about it, right? And Southeast Asia, in my memory, felt like a bit of a reflective and pensive time, because we wrote most of it in the dark. And we were riding through the night, and it was like moonlit and starlight, and we were all like kind of super exhausted, and thinking our own thoughts. So it felt like a good point in the film to go from the insanity of India and give people this reflective breather before they got to the insanity that was Australia. And so a good way to do that was to like jump out of the narrative of the film, stop trying to show people where we're going or tell people what we're doing or talk about how hard it is or how tired we are or whatever, and just give them a beautiful nighttime moonlit riding sequence. And we ended up sort of scoring that all against a phone conversation that I had with my girls when I was on the road. And so that in itself it's peaceful and it's reflective. And the fact that I'm talking to my family is enough to have people thinking about the risk of motorcycling, and that there's a cost associated with what we're doing that's far, far greater than any value in any value in some stupid like record to get a meaningless number, right? So so it was a good thing to put there, I think, and lets the viewers kind of make of it what they will.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a good moment to breathe. Kind of going off of that, Edwin and Connor, did you guys kind of get to update your friends, family, loved ones as you went, or were you just like, see you in 19 days?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Connor did actually a cool thing. He had us always on a map, like Google Maps, live tracking. Oh, cool. And he had the link, so we shared it with all our friends and families.
Sick.
So they knew a lot more than we knew where we were. Because they would check the map and be like, oh, they're there. But we were just like going crazy all the time.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, I had to call my wife, Lama, every day, my friends, my family too. I have it all recorded too.
Nice.
Yeah.
I kind of have to ask you. Did I talk to?
Yeah, you talked to your father up in. Talk to your father. A
couple people forgot I was doing it, and they were hit. I can't get into your house, dude. Like, where's your keys? And I was like, the people who were following us, I knew it, but I didn't realize how detailed it really is. Like you can zoom in and follow us the whole time. Like my mom was just sitting at her couch. She's like, this is the greatest reality show of all time. And she's just like, we'd stop for a second. She'd be like, you guys are stopping a little bit. And she had the Gantt chart. She's like, you're off schedule. You okay? And she'd text me and I was like, Ryan, I think I got to turn off my phone for a little bit. You know what I mean?
I didn't share that with anybody because I knew that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool too, because when I was in like when the darkness was consuming me, like Craig, my buddy Craig is a stunt rigger, and he was working on a film set in Winnipeg, and him and all his buddies ride, and they were following us. And so like ripping through Australia, we were getting messages like, go, you guys, go, go, go. Like, so it felt like people were watching us and cheering us on. So it was worth it. Yeah.
No, I mean, to have some support from back home and just some keep that push. Because kind of talking about descending into the darkness, literally and probably figuratively, Australia seemed like the hardest part for all of you, really. I mean, you're out there in the middle of nowhere. You're sleeping outside on the ground, like kind of all bunched together to stay warm. Kangaroos, man.
Yeah.
Like, tell me about Australia. Like that was that probably the hardest or the darkest part for you guys, maybe together individually?
I don't know, man. I mean, if you were bummed, it was the darkest for all of us, if that makes sense. Like, I thought Malaysia was rough for me because we'd just come off India, and that was crazy and dangerous, but really fun. And it was so scary and fun. The adrenaline, like there was a system happening there that kept us going and kept spirits up. And plus it was just so amazing and beautiful. But Malaysia was mostly at night. Thank God we had the 333 guys. Check out 333's YouTube channel. They're awesome.
Nice.
And they like took us in under their wing. We were in pretty rough shape, and they like tactically guided us through traffic.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Through Malaysia. I mean, I could talk for hours about those dudes. Yeah. I think that was the roughest for me because it was a white knuckle the whole way through Thailand.
Yeah. Oh, it was. Getting out of Bangkok.
Thailand was crazy.
Was super dense. And then we had a unique problem in Southeast Asia where because of the laws there, the Ducatis couldn't cross borders.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we had to get bikes, ride them through Thailand, and at the border, drop them, walk across the border and hop on other bikes and take those through Malaysia. And then same thing, drop on the border, get through to Singapore. So the 333 guys were huge in that because they rode from Singapore up to the Thai border to meet us and help us get through these little moments where we were bikeless. They ended up helping us do way more because we could hardly see. We were so tired. So they had these huge lights on their bikes. And like we fell asleep at a gas station and would wake up with like a little chocolate milk and like a bun on our chest. And they were just like,
they were teaching us how to do squats on our bikes to keep our blood flowing. Like they run a touring company basically.
Okay, gotcha, yeah.
But they were the ones that taught us that we could voice activate our cardos, dude. We didn't even have to do that.
yeah. Hey, Cardo.
Sure.
Yeah.
We heard them being like, hey, Cardo, mute microphone. And we're like, yeah, mute microphone. And
We've totally been doing that this whole time.
And then we did that like every 10 seconds for the rest of the trip. Like, but there were little things that we picked up about, you know, they'd move into the fast lane and slow down and open up a gap and corral us in there. And they were like lighting the road for us. And it was just,
they had
so
cold, moist towelettes.
The cold towelettes.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, this is first class.
These guys are
service over
so
here.
badass and classy.
Man, shout out to them.
I love these dudes.
That's rad.
Well, yeah, for sure.
If you got to tour with anybody, do it 333.
But and to back up what we're saying about it being that I think it was the roughest. That's why we didn't have any footage.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
And that's, I mean, the bridge, I call it the bridge because I think of that moment in with when he's talking to his kids, it's kind of like the bridge of a song.
Oh, sure.
Like slow, that happened strategically, like these guys were saying, but also it was kind of necessary to fill that gap because we had to go and could not film at all. I watched Ryan at a stop sign pull sunscreen out and shoot it all over his forearms and rub it on with his gloves for 2 seconds and then keep going because we were just getting roasted.
Yeah.
I mean, it was night. We couldn't film a lot too. And the guys were just like never stopped. They would just stop quickly on the gas stations and just go.
33 hours straight, right?
Southeast Asia has had no sleep. It was land in Bangkok and ride to the airport in Singapore.
33-hour day.
Straight line. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it was we never stopped in
That's
Southeast
crazy.
Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it meant that we had very little stuff. We have a scene of us packing our bikes in Bangkok.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we didn't use.
We have footage of meeting the 333 on
That's
the
right.
borders.
Yeah.
We have some gas station scenes, but also in the movie it's like you've watched us and you just like don't want to watch us doing this again in Thailand and in Singapore.
Just in a different country. Yeah.
So that was a great breather there.
Yeah.
Just kind of like go out there, out of it.
Well, and then jumping back into the riding, you go to Australia, and it is kind of a big scene change because you're kind of in the desert. It's like desolate. There's nobody there. You actually had extra gas cans because of the distance.
Yeah, we strapped, I think it was 40 liters of extra gas to the bikes because there was a spot where we weren't sure. And so we just bought those tanks at the gas station, filled them up. But it was the hardest because it was straight. There was not
Like hypnotic straight road, no curves.
Between Perth and Sydney is this thing called the Nullarbor. And Nullarbor means no trees, but there's also no anything.
Yeah.
There's no gas stations. There's no people. There's no food.
Yeah.
There's no water. There's no turns. They make a big deal about this like 90-mile straight. It's like the longest straight in the world without a corner.
Okay.
And they don't tell you that there's also like an 86-mile straight and a 72-mile straight and a 48-mile straight. Like it's all these straights with these little kinks. And yeah, Con's right. You need gas because the gas stations are maybe like 300, 350K apart, but they close at like 8 p.m. And if there's no service, they just close because they can't take payment. So we had to carry a lot of gas because we needed to push like through the night and be waiting there at the first gas station in the morning when it opens so we could keep going. For me, it was for sure the hardest part because it was super cold. It was like -7.
We thought we were going to be able to sleep.
We thought we were going to be able to sleep and we couldn't because it was too cold and there was nowhere to sleep. And when it is really cold, the kangaroos all go and like huddle in the middle of the road because the pavement like retains some of the day's heat.
Oh my God.
So we'd be riding through the night, which everyone told us that like, you can't ride through the night out here, like you're not supposed to do that. And we'd come over like a rise and there would be like 30 kangaroos in the middle of the road. And they'd see your lights and run in like 30 different directions.
Scatter, yeah.
And so we got a good bit of footage of like those situations. Me and Edwin hit one. He thinks he kicked it with his foot.
It was in my feet. Yeah. I was like, Ryan, we just hit one. It was like, nah. I was like, we did, dude. It was like, yeah.
You just clipped it, but we got it. Yeah.
Then we were just like really tired and we were trying to get to a place where we can eat and sleep.
Right.
And it was like 8 hours in and it was
you can't
night.
stop. Can't stop or you'll freeze.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Or we will freeze.
Yeah.
It was... Yeah,
But
it was the
those bikes,
hardest
those
for
are
sure.
hot
It was
bikes.
the hardest.
Those are hot bikes, and we were lucky. And I remember just like hugging my engine, and like the vents on the sides, like did a huge.
It was warmer on the bikes.
Warmer on the bikes.
It's super windy. Like the wind might be blowing 100 kph in the Nullarbor, so you're better off on the bike because you're in 100 kph wind anyway.
Yeah,
right.
You might as well be on the motorcycle where you get to like hug an engine and have heated grips.
Yeah.
It was a case of like, there's one fill in the movie, like we're filling gas by side road, and you can tell we're all like a little bit freaked out because we're all way too cold, way too tired.
Is this where Connor's telling himself to like just fill the gas tank?
Yeah, come on, Con, just put the gas in the bike.
Which, like if you're talking to yourself, I've been there before where it's like just tell yourself to do the next step.
Yeah,
that's all you can think about.
I was so wired, and everybody told us, don't. And we didn't want to. Like, you shouldn't ride at night. I don't recommend it.
Or that tired,
Or that tired, or anything. But we just, for me, I was like, well, no one is out here except the road trains, and they wouldn't even feel me if there was an issue.
That's it.
And we just got through India, where my biggest issue was getting someone else, like bumping into somebody else. And so I was really stressed out about causing a problem in India. And so when we were out on the road, the one silver lining was like, okay, well, if like something goes down, it's probably just going to be me that's involved. But we never really got to the point where I was really worried about safety. We were just suffering, and we just had to do it.
It was a weird moment in Australia where we were way too tired to ride. We were way too cold to ride. We didn't want to ride. But the best thing we could do was ride.
Yeah.
Like we were warmest on the bikes and we had nowhere else to be and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And no service.
It's like the best, worst choice.
Yeah. It was like a weird situation where it was like, I guess the best survival thing we can do is to hop on and keep going.
Yeah.
Which ended up being fortuitous because we made it to Barrie and we got food and a small amount of sleep and we're just like able to make the flight in Sydney. All the flights were close. Like we set them all up so that we would maybe have like 4-ish hours of buffer.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So like you cross a continent, like, 3 days of steady riding, you want to arrive within that like 4 hour or with at least that 4 hour slot to make your flight. But most of them were quite a bit tighter than that. Like we just barely had enough time to make the schedule that we made for ourselves.
But we made them all, dude. And they were all on time except one. And we needed that delay to make it. I mean, have you ever had 10 flights in a row in your life all be on time?
Never.
It's insane.
That just sounds terrifying.
Turkey's flight got delayed
and we needed it.
We wouldn't have made it if it wasn't delayed.
Oh, really?
The luck was in, and also too, like if any part of me was like, I wish this would end, like it wouldn't. We kept making it. Kept making the flight.
You're like almost hoping for failure.
Yeah.
Because then it's like I can
I'll
at least
admit
calm
it for
down.
sure. At certain points, I was like, I can't believe that we can still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You know what it was? It's the Gantt chart.
I think it was the chart.
It's the Gantt chart, the laminated
chart.
Yeah, you make your own luck, boys.
Without the chart, there's no way.
So moving along to made it through Australia, where you kind of found your second wind, it felt like. But what was it like when you got from Australia to Alaska and you're on the same continent, kind of the home stretch? What was that feeling like? Was it like, were you like within grasp? Was it like, were you feeling good? Like
100%.
Yeah.
Best feeling in the world. It's when we made the flight in Sydney, we knew that we had the record in the bag because we got to Alaska way early. The record's 19 days, 4 hours. We could have cruised home and like slept 12 hours and just like chilled riding home and still done like a 17 and a half.
Wow. Okay.
Like we were way ahead of time because all the flights worked and we never thought that would happen. We thought we'd miss some. And if you miss some, you add at least 24 hours because that flight from Sydney to Anchorage only goes once every 24 hours because you have to go to Hawaii and then the flight from Hawaii to Anchorage is like not a common one.
Sure.
So when those went, we knew like, oh, sweet. Like we got this in the bag. And for the first time we were reasonably like rested because it's,
Sure.
it's, 12, 14 hours of flying time and like 10 hours of laying over in Hawaii.
So you had like a day
we
basically
slept.
to
Yeah.
to
I
relax.
sat in one of those massage chairs and just swiped my credit card for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was
I
awesome.
love it. I love it.
Yeah, it felt good. We knew at that point we'd make it. It was just a question of like how we wanted to make it.
Yeah.
We
how
really
fast and
slept
how
on
hard.
that flight. We really did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't remember any of the flights. Like I love planes.
Yeah.
Every time I fly, like I want the window seat and I want to watch the takeoff and watch the landing. I'm like really into it.
Yeah.
Because like you're flying in the air. If you're not into that, like something wrong with you, you know? But that was the one time where I fell asleep like before pushback every single time.
Oh wow.
That was the
Woke
one
up
where
when the wheels hit the ground.
that was the one where the woman was sitting next to us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Four seats in our zone.
Yeah.
And we took up the first three, and then there was this woman there chatting with her a little bit.
Forgot about that.
And then we just go, and then we wake up when we land, and the woman was like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "You didn't even like." I guess she just like was worried about us.
Yeah.
And
Did you all die at the same time?
Yeah, it was so weird, but yeah, we felt great. That's where we met Bradley from Ducati North America
Yeah.
and set us up with our bikes. I got to slip back into my Aero Stitch. Felt right at home.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Well, going back to the Sydney airport, and I think this is where the last scene in the film is, right? It was in the Sydney airport?
That's in the airport in Hawaii.
Oh, in Hawaii. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are chilling there. And obviously, if we made it this far in the conversation, you've seen the whole movie. If not, then too bad. But I thought you ended it in kind of an interesting way, is that you're talking through this whole situation. You're kind of narrating almost like, okay, we have this in the bag. Even if we sleep 12 hours a day and ride like 12 hours and do it safely and calmly and all that. And it's kind of interspersed with like Alaska and then back home and everything like that. And then you just like kind of end it. And the last words are, so what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Can you, and this is probably a question for Edwin, but I mean, all of you guys, please let me know what made you want to just kind of decide to end it like that.
I mean, we talked about it, me and Ryan, basically discussing the idea of whether this is what actually happened on the airport. We were discussing of whether we do this, we go hard, gnarly, finish it, and then be happy that we made like 16 days instead of 17 days.
Yeah.
Or should we just like take it easy and like relax and that. So that was basically what happened. And then we wanted to have two endings just for fun.
Oh, sure.
Just for the idea of opening up for the viewer to kind of ask themselves of what's going on. It's just like a quick one, but yeah, I mean you can add on it.
It's
Whatever you feel like.
What I liked about that ending was that it allowed us to end the movie by basically posing the question to the viewer of like what would you do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you play it safe. You know, you recognize that what you have at home, your life, your family, like that is what really matters. And so you take it easy and like get back to that. And that's what's precious. Or you do this like dumb fun thing and you push really hard just to get like a 16 time, which doesn't mean anything. And there's no like weighty conclusion behind that.
That's
the
the thing,
conclusion is just
exactly.
like
It's
risk is fun because when you take a risk, you risk dying, and when you don't die, you like stoked that you're alive, and so it was fun, and you do it again.
Yeah.
And it's not like, that's not deep. That's just like dumb thrill, you know? And motorcycling is not deep. It's a dumb thrill. And so I wanted to kind of tease out that tension of like, there's kind of what's logical, and then there's what's silly and fun. And we all asked each other in the airport, like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So it was neat to play out both endings and then be able to end by asking the viewer, like, what do you want to do? I think it's still reasonably obvious which one we did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what do you think? Which one we did?
I mean, considering you got the 16, I think you went hard.
We were dumb.
But I have to imagine it was way easier because it's almost like, I mean, it's the home stretch, but it's familiar territory. You're in your own kind of familiar gear, fresh gear probably that isn't
Fresh enough.
yeah, relatively fresh. So, I mean, it's within sight, and and so it's like at the end of a race of any kind, where it's like you're going to win by a mile or an inch or whatever. You might as well win by a mile and push yourself.
That's it. Yeah, that's what we thought for sure. I mean, yeah, if we made it in 17 days, we were like, yeah, I mean, we can push one more day. And like it's BC, and like Ryan would say, it's the backyard. So I really feel comfortable riding here, and Connor knows the area well too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I love that they did that because that was a real question, and it was one that I hate that was asked because I knew the answer. Was to just keep,
it was more rhetorical than anything else.
And he was kind of just saying, we could chill, we're gonna make it. But in my mind, anything could happen. Like we could have an incident, something could happen. It wasn't a guarantee, for sure. But like we pushed so hard for this long. Like, I mean, I'm not a super competitive dude, but I was a swimmer at one point in my life. And I remember just coaches saying, just finish strong. Like, even if you're crushing the competition, finish strong, like do your best. And so we did that. I mean, we weren't going as psycho as we were in some of the other stages, but we just had to finish strong. And it wasn't easy, man. That last,
I think it was as psycho as ever. We rode that last, we rode 24 hours to Whitehorse, slept a couple, and rode another like hard 24 to home.
But the rain at the end.
Yeah.
And what through Hell's Canyon. It's literally called Hell's Canyon. It was dumping rain.
We had a small accidenty situation,
The closest we ever came to crashing was in the last like half hour.
Half hour, just under the
really?
bridge.
In Hell's Canyon?
Yeah, in Hell's Canyon, yeah. Well, that's when Ryan said, hey, Con, like go take lead. And
when we pulled over for
there was like a metal rod coming out of the street that hit our bike.
Oh, damn.
I don't remember this at all. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
So was this when we pulled over for a second? We let those big trucks go by, and they were really like, kind of like by where we camped in the pickup shots with the RV. Remember we pulled over for a second?
Yeah, it was a little more north of there, but it was in Hell's Canyon is this like gnarly road that follows the Fraser River.
Okay.
And it was all under construction. So like half of it was down to one lane, and there was huge pieces of rebar sticking out of the pavement. And yeah, we got hit by a piece of bar and went off this like, and part of it's paved, part of it's not. It's like this hard ledge that's really nasty for motorcycles. And I couldn't see anything in night and in the rain with the glare and stuff. So that's where Con just like got us home. He
finished strong.
Glad I could help. I wish I recalled any of that.
I wish I was there.
Incident. Yeah, I wish I was there. Yeah.
We killed a bike in Alaska. Like,
really?
The whole time. We haven't talked about the film rig. Talk about the film rig, and then it'll make sense to everyone why we finally killed the electrics on one of these bikes.
Yeah, I mean, we had 2 FX3s and 4 action cameras, 3 microphones, and 6 batteries to each camera. Mm-hmm. But for the FX3, I had those big V-mount batteries.
Oh, yeah.
Which are like huge batteries that power the FX3 and the monitor and the microphone, because everything needs power for hours. And that's probably the best call I made on the rig for us to be able to like roll forever and not worry about it. But all of this need to be charged, and the only way to charge stuff is when we get to the hotel, if we ever go to any, plug the chargers. So I made like a Pelican case.
Yeah.
The yellow Habibi case, it was called. And then in this rig, we had one charger that has the V-mount batteries that will be charging through the Ducati from the Ducati's battery. And then this charger charges every other battery we have, our phones and everything else we need.
So everything comes through the Ducati, and then you can charge everything else.
It's just one cable, exactly. And it's also easy to, whenever we arrive anywhere, it's like we're grabbing food, we just like plug it if we had the chance or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing in the film rig, to be able to have juice and be filming all the time.
Yeah.
Which brings us to
it's just way too much for the alternator on a Ducati Multistrada V4 Rally.
I didn't realize you guys demystified what had happened, because it was my bike. I was riding it. I got a flash on the screen and the battery died. And then
while you were riding,
I was where I was descending, and then so I got to I just coasted to a safe spot. And the footage of this dude is awesome, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I hope we cut it into a short or something because it's super
Yeah.
cool dude who just looks like Alaska, like personified.
It's so calm.
He just gets out of the truck and Ryan's like, "You don't have jumper cables, do you?" And he kind of looks at just gives us the best face.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, "Oh, dude," and he goes, "Put him in the truck this morning, man."
Yeah.
And we
was
jumped
awesome.
it and we were good. But yeah, it was so weird. So you figured out it was because we were pulling on every bike the whole time. We were using the same rig, but on this bike, it just
Probably it's an old battery or something.
it was the same. We used the bike twice. It was the same one from here to Miami.
It was
trucked
it was
up
the
to
bike
Alaska.
with the weaker battery.
Okay.
And it wasn't charging as fast as it was draining. And so at some point it was going to kill it.
Okay.
Because after we jumped it, we never plugged in the film kit again to that bike.
True. Yeah. Just in case. Yeah.
Just so that it would keep.
So it was
itself
just here to Miami, then Alaska for a little bit, smoked it, and they probably we didn't get it charged up between then and.
Yep.
Okay.
And the other battery had also a weak, or the other bike had also a pretty weak battery because Ed and I shot a review for the FortNine's channel with it like
Oh yeah.
a few months later, and the battery died on that. And then we had to replace that one
Yeah.
too.
So we kind of had a time bomb, didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you overcame.
We overcame it.
Thanks to your Alaska friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was cool.
What was it like sleeping in your own bed that first night back?
Pretty cool.
Unreal? Cool? Comfortable?
It was great. Yeah.
Slept like a baby?
I slept like a baby. No, it's good to be back home for sure.
Yeah.
It's always good to come back to your bed and sleep and know that, like you finished something huge and you're successful and you're back home and you've seen the people you love and everybody's there still. You can sleep how much ever you want, which I didn't. But yeah, I mean,
You got the day off the next day. Yeah.
I mean, it was the day off for sure. But I was like, I woke up at 6 a.m. I was like ready to go, and I was
Yeah.
like, no, sleep, dude.
Yeah, it felt more like a death than sleep for me.
Really?
Yeah, we finished the race in Hope. So we started in Hope, which is like about an hour from Vancouver, but that's the point that's like on the route. So,
Okay, sure.
So that's where we started and ended. We got across the finish line in Hope, and we're all so destroyed we like went to the nearest motel and just passed out. And then woke up like 4 hours after checkout or something the next day. Got out of there. I saw my family for like a couple hours, and I fell back asleep for like another 30. It was the weirdest thing, and I had no dreams, no nothing, just
out.
dead for 30 hours. Yeah, never happened to me before or since.
We got to that hotel. My mom was there, my partner Cass, and my mom had this like vat of pasta salad, like her famous pasta salad.
yeah.
Good.
I remember that.
And I remember just staring at all of us and looking at how dead we were, and we were just like shoveling pasta salad into our mouths. And it was over, and we didn't register. We just ate the salad, and then it was like 5 a.m. And so Cass and my mom were like, "We're out of here." So they left, and then we fell asleep. I woke up and I rode straight from there to here, and I shot a revision to the boot review because I hated those boots so much after that trip that I was like, forget everything I said in that review. Like, put a thing at the end and we'll tell them what happened after doing a 21,000 kilometer test or whatever. So I actually came here and shot it, and then went to my house and slept for a few days on the couch. But I watched that now, and that was also one of the things that I don't really remember. I had trouble with facial recognition for a while after I got home. Like, people were walking into my house to just see how it was, and it was taking me a second to remember who they were. Like, I don't want to know what your sister knows about that because I was going through it.
Yeah.
It was
That's
bad.
wild.
Yeah, it was wild.
Well, yeah, we didn't talk about it. You seem to be the only one that had any sort of malady happen to you.
Yeah.
Edwin did get some great shots of your feet, so that's cool. What happened?
So this is a separate issue from the edema, which was the swelling of my legs.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I have like a waterproof membrane, like, one of the, it's not Big G, it's one of the other ones. I wanted waterproof and breathable because I was going to Alaska and India. And I know that can't really happen, but I did it anyway. And I just, I got really wet when Ryan and I were in France. My boundary pants from Moscow Moto were totally waterproof, and they're doing a really good job. But I kind of like accumulated like a lake of water in my lap.
Yeah.
And then at one point, that just got into the zipper, and I stood up and like, I don't know, like a half gallon of water just poured right down my pants into my boots. And so I was like, okay, my feet are going to be wet for the next like 10 days.
Yeah.
And then that water heated up in India and just created this monster inside of my boots. And it was so bad that it wasn't funny. Like I couldn't keep my boots in the same hotel room. We couldn't sleep if the boots were in there. They were so nasty.
Gross.
And then you can't get a plastic bag. You're riding and you're seeing plastic bags just flying around.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the hotel, it's like 10 cents or something. And these guys are like, no, you're not just going to give you one of our trash bags. So I couldn't get a trash bag. So I couldn't leave my boots outside. And I can't get a fresh pair of boots because I got bigger feet than everybody in all of India. So it was this weird thing that shouldn't be a problem. That was a huge issue. And I had really gnarly like athlete's foot. Like it was like super itchy and really hot and driving me crazy. So that was the reason why I was like, I have to pull over and just do something about this. Cause it's like, I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this forever. What else could I have done?
Science doesn't know what happened to Connor's
It was
feet.
just
It's
insane.
Still an unknown mystery.
For
But
sure.
the way you describe it is perfectly, where it's like, it's so bad it wasn't funny.
Not funny.
Because it sounds very funny to be like, oh, yeah, it's smelly feet. It's like, no. You don't understand.
Yeah.
It was
No.
like some type of medical emergency level of smelly feet. And it's funny talking about it now because we're all just so useless to solve a simple problem
Exactly.
of getting a plastic bag or getting like some like athlete's foot powder. Like we were all just like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, oh man, it's awful,
Yeah.
But at that point we weren't very capable of much.
In Thailand, though, I got to a 7-Eleven and I'm looking for whatever, I'm paying the gas or whatever. In a corner of my eye, I see a can of that Febreze stuff and there's like a picture of a shoe on it. And so I grabbed it and I ran out to the bike and I just spiked it on the peg and then drained it into both shoes and like hit my whole body with it and then kept going. And that actually really helped. Like it kind of stopped it for a while.
There you go.
I don't know what's in that stuff, but it works.
It did.
Yeah.
I remember the smell on the planes for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
the plane was the worst.
You were that guy on the
'cause
plane.
there's
I
no way
couldn't
to
do
go
anything
out.
about it, dude.
Like,
yeah,
No, you couldn't. Yeah.
I
we were
ripped
so close to each other.
I ripped the plastic bag out of the garbage cans in one of the bathrooms
Yeah, you
and tied them
figured-
up.
yeah, you-
Like I had a system.
He had a system. He would go first in like the washroom and the.
Oh, as soon as you get on the plane,
just
yeah.
like go
So
figure
once
it
we get
out.
to the gate, I would take like a shower with wet ones,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
those
yeah.
things, and like change my clothes and bag everything up. But it was the weirdest little ritual I had to do before everything. And at one point, there was a Uniqlo next to the gate in
This is Singapore.
and I just bought all new clothes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and just ditched everything else because it was. I mean, you're carrying at a certain point. You're carrying dirty laundry all over the world. It's like you could probably let it go.
Yeah, for sure. You don't still have those boots, do you?
I threw them away last week at the dumpster behind Ducati North America, and it's
It's a ceremony.
Sayonara. Yeah. Probably would have been like an environmental hazard to burn them.
That's what I was thinking.
So
Yeah.
just somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
So
We had to keep all that stuff for a really long time because when we set the world record, we filmed everything, and like 99% of the narrative arc is like all the real stuff that happened. It's a documentary, and we're like super proud of that because it's a movie where everything is real. But of course, we got like no landscape shots, like no nice riding footage, no like really nice drone stuff, like all the B-roll. We just had no time to stop and take any of it. So we had to keep all of our nasty, nasty clothes because we had to go back around the world a second time.
Yeah.
To shoot all the stuff that you'd want to be in there when you go to see like a nice travel movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like match how Connor was wearing his stuff in this shot. That comes after the riding shot.
Right.
On the bike. Yeah, it was a fun pickup. Like
Not a
pickup
bad
shooting
perk
was
to
fun.
do it. Yeah.
We had some tough days too in pickup shots though.
For sure. I mean,
Like I remember being like, why are we doing this again? Like why is this hard again? Like at one point I'll admit I did tap out, and I got to give Umesh from Ducati India a huge high five because we got all our shots in India and then we have to ride home, but you still just can't like ride home in India. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, dude, like there's nothing on the line. This guy's stoked to ride this bike and I'm just going to get in this BMW. What kind of Beamer was that?
Oh, they had an X5.
Oh, you had a
Crazy
chase
new
car
X5
this time.
Yeah, with
For
like
the pickups, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
the
'cause you didn't
AC
have
and the
one.
seats.
Yeah.
No support on the World Tour. But
Yeah.
going back for B-roll, we had some buds in India. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, it was just as terrifying being a passenger in a car in India. I think I'd rather be on the bikes.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So now, I mean, the film is out. You've got it out there in the world, everything. You've done this. Do you still think about Connor can't remember it, but do you guys think about like if you're like doing the dishes or daydreaming or something like that, and you think, I rode around the world, and not only did I ride around the world, I broke the world record. Like, does that thought enter your mind at all or no?
Sometimes it does for me. Not so much breaking the world record, just the fact that we hopped on a bike and pointed it east and just kept going until we came back around. Like, you know that the world is shaped like a ball.
I got something to say to flat earthers.
Some
yeah.
people know that it's
I
shaped
can
like a
tell.
ball. And you know that in theory it's connected, right? Like in theory you can ride roads that lead to other roads and find your way around the whole thing. But when I think of the trip, I think about that, the fact that you can actually just hop on a thing and go and just keep going so you come all the way around.
You didn't turn around.
It's cool that's possible. You never turn around. Yeah, just keep going east, and you come back around home.
That is kind of messes with your mind a little bit, yeah.
Messes
what about
with
you,
your
Edwin?
mind, Yeah.
I mean, it's something. It's huge. I think what I like really remember from the trip is like the interactions with these guys and like being able to do like 16 days with these guys in this same room, same enclosure every day, 24. I've never done like something like this before. You know, like 40 hours with a person for like 16 days awake, talking about stuff and still like not having any trouble or like fighting with them or whatever. But it was like, yeah, it was cool. And like, I mean, thinking of it for sure, it's a big thing to do and like come back alive and said it. Yeah. It was great. I mean, the movie is what I was like. Yeah, we made the movie, you know. Like,
right. That was
the record.
That was the closing of the chapter for you.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's like a year and a half after.
Wow.
To work on the movie and make it happen. So that's a world record for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it'll help to reflect off of other people like what this actually was, because it was so, not only did we do it and memories are scattered, but watching the footage so many times to get the movie right, and then like I can't see it with fresh eyes, and so I don't know if what I have are memories or if it's footage or whatever. It's scrambled in my head, and so I think like getting this out there and then seeing sort of how it's received is going to help me figure out how I really feel about it.
Yeah, I feel the exact same.
The book's not closed.
We've shown it to people like yourself who have seen like a rough cut ahead of time, so we can do things like this, and we got kind of closer to a fine cut and sent that to like a bunch of people who walked into it pretty cold and didn't know anything about the project. And like Connor says, it's really interesting to hear feedback from them, because you finally get a little bit of a glimpse at how the trip looks to someone who jumped right in.
Yeah.
We're all way too close to it. Just to think about it objectively now.
Yeah.
Again, congratulations on the film, going around the world, breaking the record, living to tell the tale. I mean, that's something that probably only a handful of people you could count on one hand, maybe, and
hopefully more. Yeah,
exactly.
Hopefully more. It's nice to have consolidated some of the like stipulations of what this was sort of a goal, and then if people want to do it safely and do it their way, like I hope that they do, and I'll drive support. Like if they beat us, I'm not going to try and get it again. Really do it? But I'll go help them out. Yeah, why not?
I mean, and I guess we'll kind of close on that, because again, you smashed the record. I mean, it was 19 days and some change, or 23 hours, I think, and you did it in 16 and some change.
And no breaks for travel time was the big thing.
Yeah, continuously, right? Do you think anybody could beat that?
They'd have to make all their flights, and they'd have to get an earlier one out of Hawaii.
I think
we talked about it a couple
that's the only
a couple
way.
days ago. I think there's still a half day in it, and interestingly, like Red Bull athlete like Sam Sunderland, Dakar dude, is planning to crack this next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and hit us up, Sam, because we'll give you all the beta. Like, a huge part of wanting to do this was wanting to, as Connor said, like coalesce the records that have existed before, but kind of beat them all, so that we can say like, this is it.
It's the definitive.
You
here's
go
the bar.
To this city, this city, this city. This is the route, simple A to B, and you count everything, and that's the record. And if you do that and you beat the time, like, it's yours. So we know for sure. Like, Red Bull's going for it. I'd love to see other guys go for it, and we'll try to help you do it, because we want people to do it.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's kind of the message of the film. Like I said at the end, is like, what are you going to do?
That's it.
I mean, I will say it makes me want to ride a multistrada. I'll say that.
Do you want to do it? Do you feel like doing it?
Yeah, let's go.
We got one downstairs.
You want to do it right now?
Oh, no, we're not going again. Dude.
You got to wear a sketchy camera helmet, though.
We'll just go right around Vancouver. So.
Like 1 year break.
Yeah. No, before we go, where can we watch the movie?
Yeah, we'll give you a link. So there'll be a link. You can attach a link to a podcast, right?
Sure can.
Cool. So there'll be a link attached to this podcast where you can go and rent the movie. It'll be like a few bucks, and you can watch it as much as you want. And that's it. Power of the internet.
I love it. And I will say it actually is worth more than one watch because I watched it twice and I picked up new stuff and like it made me laugh again and all that stuff. It was like going through it again. And I really enjoyed it actually even more the second time. So highly recommend watching it more than once. And because it is so much so fast, and so I really enjoyed it. And thank you guys for having me up here at the FortNine's studios.
We're really glad to hear it.
And let's go ride a multistrada.
Let's do it, man.
All right. Ed, you're in the back.
Thanks for listening to Driven to Ride. Interact with us and check out full unedited conversations, photos, interviews, video interviews, plus other goodies on YouTube or Instagram at Driven to Ride Podcast. Or you can check us out at driventoridepodcast.com. And make sure you leave us a rating and review from wherever you get your podcasts too. If you have an idea for an episode or a guest, or you want to invite us out on an adventure, email us, hello@driventoridepodcast.com. Driven to Ride is wholly owned by Flint Rock LLC, made possible with help from Matthew Miles, and written, hosted, and produced by me, Mark Long. We'll see you out there.